Yeah, so my project is called CreditLens. So the problem I'm solving right now is that millions of small business owners in all over the world in developing countries are not able to get loans. And that is not because their business is bad, but mainly because they don't have a formal credit bank history, which most
Hmm.
lenders require to provide the loans. So most of them run their business through cash and mobile payments. So there's no paper trail a bank can actually recognize. But that same phone data which they use, or any utility bill payments, that actually tells you a lot about how reliable a business actually is. So CreditLens basically gets that data, and it also analyzes many different factors such as how good the local market is, and other features which we'll be looking at, and it will provide a credit score.
Interesting. All right. Why don't we
So,
give a demonstration then?
so um, this it computes a 300 to 900 credit score using digital payments, utility reliability, and AI-driven market context. So here are the four steps which our score can give. So first we give the location, then the business profile, then the debt and loan planning, and then the final score dashboard. Also, however, our score is given, each part of it is completely explainable because each part of the data which you're providing will have a certain part on our score. So all the different inputs we are giving will be scored accordingly. So it is built for any country, but we have mainly focused on the main countries which are still developing because the most under-reserved bank businesses are in those countries.
Interesting. Okay.
Um, Apart from that, it also takes our the industry which we are working in, and then the macro data of that country, such as its inflation and GDP growth, and then your business's EMI and DTI planner. Then and it will have multiple features which we can start. So I'll
All
just
right. Let's see how it works. Okay.
so first the user picks the location on this interactive 3D globe. So as you can see, we can click on any point on this globe and it will give the place. Apart from that, you can also these gold markers which are present here. They are the premium business districts. And once you pick a country, a state, and then a city. So for right now, let's go for India because that's where I live. So you can click on any country you're present in though.
Okay. Sure. Delhi NCR. Okay. So basically, the premium business districts are like big
Yeah.
cities, like capital cities, and this like trade hubs
Yes,
and stuff.
exactly. And
Got
the way it's going to analyze is going to differ for each country. So right now, for India, it's using UPI real-time payments, Aadhaar, KYC. But if I go for Nigeria, it's going to be different according to their country.
Interesting. Did you like research what countries use what and to do it according?
Yes. So we have a whole database embedded from for where this AI is getting all its information from. So it's going to look at the database before it can provide the credit score.
Interesting. All right.
So I'll continue with India for
India.
now.
Okay. Sure. Gurugram. Right?
So then let's continue. So next, the business owner enters their profile, which basically includes the industry, the number of years they're operating, their employee count, and then the monthly revenue. And the key part for this is their alternative data, which is the monthly digital transaction volume, which is basically how many digital payments they're getting per week and their on-time utility bill payment rate. So as you can see here, we can enter our business name, the industry which you're working on, and this will also differ our credit score because on how demanded each industry is. Then the number of years operating, you can see the slider is going to change. Then the number of employees you have, then your monthly revenue. Suppose it's 3,000, 30,000. Then your monthly digital transaction volume, suppose that's 90,000. Then the digital payments per week, which can be 50 weeks with no digital activity, maybe it's zero. And then your on-time utility payment rate can be around 50%. So let's
All right.
continue.
Sure.
So it's asking us to enter a business name because each
Mhm.
part is required. Yeah. So
Aarav. Beautiful name for a store. Huh?
my name.
Aarav.
Yeah.
All right.
The next step is the debt and loan planning. So here we have a built-in EMI calculator. So as I enter a new loan amount, the interest rate and the tenure, it live computes the monthly EMI, the total interest, and critically the debt to income ratio with a warning if it crosses the healthy 45% threshold. So we have a limit set of 45% threshold because that under that is the healthy ratio. So if my current loan amount which I require is 20,000 rupees, then
Hmm.
then it will provide all your facts, and then the annual interest rate, and then you can change the tenure during the slider. And this will live compute your score right now. So it will differ on whatever you input here.
Cool. Okay.
Um, One more thing to note is that whichever country you have chosen, so whatever number you're inputting is based on that. Because I've chosen India, the currency which is here is rupees. If I'd chosen something else, then the currency would also differ.
Nice. Okay, taking that into account, right?
Yeah. So then we finally calculate our score. So a Gemini 2.5 Flash analyzes real-time local market demand for this exact industry and city which we have chosen. Then the live World Bank data pulls in the inflation and GDP growth of that particular country, and then it all rolls up to a fully transparent 300 to 900 score. So you get
Okay.
a factor by factor breakdown too, which we'll be looking at right now. Um,
Pause 1 second here, Arav. So like basically Gemini and the World Bank API thing, right? It's getting the input data, you could say.
yeah,
That, and then and then the score is calculated using what, a regression model, or just
yeah.
like,
So we
is that a
have different weightage for each thing which we are inputting.
okay?
So
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 weighted score of all of them, right? That's how you got add up
yeah,
the number.
yeah.
Okay.
So after all my inputs, I got a final score of 755 out of 900, which is a pretty good score. And it will also give the insights about your business, which is good, which is not good, what are some risky factors. Then it will also give a factor by factor breakdown of your whole business, on which parts were particularly which they stood out. So for me, the utility bill reliability was a bit less.
Mm-hmm.
And then suppose the local market demand, which I've chosen at the start of which industry I'm working on, maybe its demand is going to reduce in the next few years.
Cool.
Then it
Okay.
will also give a market and macro context. So this is basically local market demand in that particular country.
And the
And the,
macroeconomics things as well. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah. And the
Okay.
macroeconomic context, which is the inflation and GDP growth. So, and all these personalized recommendations can also help improve the business. And you can always go back or start over if you have to edit, and if you might have made any mistakes while inputting.
Interesting. So
So
this is for the businesses to calculate us their own score, is that it? Or like it, because I mean, like this is all about credit scores are made for banks to judge this sort of stuff, right?
yeah,
So
so
like,
basically it can
who's
help
the
back.
user here exactly?
Excuse what?
Who's the user here exactly?
Your
Like
voice is
if this is
cracking a bit.
if imagine you really oh, 1 second, let me turn on. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. As I was saying that, like, imagine you make this a full product, right? So all the gaps you fill in, who will be using this in the real world exactly? Who will be the target user to this?
So the target audience is basically the business owners, obviously, because they can get personalized recommendations at the end, and whatever they might need to improve on with, and they obviously have several features such as the EMI calculator and all that. But more importantly, for them to actually attain the loans they want, banks can start using these features. So from for whatever the bank might require by the business, it can all input the data here and then give a personalized score, and that can help banks to see if it's really required for them to provide the loan or not.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so that's how you, because like one like sort of thing here that like it's like lying, right? Like say if the bank is using this to like score a business, right? Won't the business try to like think of like, okay, wait, how can I try to make my score look bigger
Score,
than it
yeah.
actually is,
So
right?
we looked at that problem too, but in the real world, when the banks are
Mhm.
actually using this, they won't just believe a simple number which they have inputted. So they'll actually see the
Yeah,
official documents and all, and then only the score will be calculated.
got it. So you're leaving the checking to the banks themselves.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. All right.
Uh,
I think one more thing you should be careful about here, right? Is can you go back to your business part, the business part, number two?
yeah.
Yeah. Here, like especially when you're dealing with local businesses and stuff, right? First things first, there's no such thing as monthly revenue. It's kind of seasonal. Do you get that? Where like maybe certain months you're making a lot of money, other months you might not be making a lot of money. That like if you have a construction business, for example, you won't be making that much in the rainy season, right?
Yeah.
Right. So monthly revenue might not be the best metric here. Okay. What about the other metrics? What about employees? What do you think the problem can be there with having just employees, number of
Uh,
employees?
so for the employees is basically just for the bank to know how the growth of the business, how and how much it has already scaled, because more the number of employees, the bank would know uh, that it might be referring to that they're making a good amount of profit, and then to attain the loan, it would be easier because the bank can trust that the
No, no,
business.
I get that, Arav. That's not the question here. Look, think back to the monthly revenue example I gave you, right? Like because
Yeah.
all businesses it varies over the months as well, right? They don't have a fixed like revenue per se. Similarly, with the number of employees, right? A lot of them, first things first, they don't have employees technically. They hire their family or like they just use their children as labor. Or they what ends up happening is they use seasonal labor, right? Like for maybe in the summer months when it's busy, they might hire a few more workers temporarily, right? So what counts as the number of employees? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah,
So
and
it's a
also
bit
one more
ambiguous
problem.
here, right?
Yeah, and one more problem could be that the employees are like not working full time. They might be working, some might be working part
Part
time,
time,
some might be working full time. So that would also
right?
depend.
So yeah, again, you have to think according to your customers here, right? Like who are these local businesses? What do they operate like? Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense. All right. Other than that, this is pretty good.
So we
Uh,
also have
but,
obviously we can change
okay,
in the language
nice.
depending
I
on.
really like how you're trying to like appeal this to a lot of different sort of cultures as well. Okay, what about the scoring system itself? What about what possible problems could your current scoring system have using
So
Gemini and the World Bank data?
uh so right now, the way we have given the weightage for each of the inputs might we need like it might change over time, because you never know on which factor might be more important in the coming years. So then the credit score will obviously differ due to that.
No, no, I was talking about the things you can. This is the list of numbers you decide, right? That's fine. Like I'm talking more so about like, would there be any possible problems with using, for example, the World Bank data API or like using Gemini, for example?
So one obvious could be that Gemini can obviously make some mistakes. So that's the most obvious one. The
Okay,
second might be that the World Bank, that Gemini might not be able to attain the actual data the World Bank is providing, because due to many sources being found on the net, right? So it wouldn't be able to believe which one to actually take and use for this calculation.
Yeah, the main problem I think with your current system, right, is that like Gemini kind of just makes things up if it doesn't know. Does that make sense? It won't tell you that, hey, I'm not sure, I don't know. It will just say like, it'll just tell you that it'll just make something up because you want an answer, right? Does that kind of make sense? It's a
Yeah.
bit people
Okay.
pleasing in that sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, so like it will rather give you a wrong answer than just telling you I don't know. Okay, so what you can look into is also this, like trying to figure out like some sort of backup way there. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Other than that, great job, Arav. I
So
really like how you're trying to appeal to a lot of people, and I think this you're like the fact that you really care about this is really shining through. Okay,
Yeah,
so I
and
appreciate
obviously
that.
we have a chat box too for the people who are not knowing how to use this
Hmm.
interface.
Can
So
this
yeah.
chatbot be in like other languages as well? If you like change the language to like Hindi, will the chatbot also
So
change?
so the language changes for the this for the thing, but for the chat box it doesn't really change.
Hmm. So
It's
maybe
only
that's a feature you can work on possibly.
yeah.
All right. Other than that, okay. Some obviously you have improvements to do, but other than that, you great project so far, Arav. I think you'll do well. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Please stay in the call for a second. Now will be a bit of the feedback over this program as well will be asked by someone else. All right. Just stay in
Yeah,
the. Okay? Great job. Cheers.
yeah. Thank you.